Okay, before we dive into this, just take a breath.
There's just one thing you need to know. You see, every single story you're about to hear really happened. And that, right there, is the most terrifying part.
Look, these aren't just some campfire stories or urban legends someone made up. No, what we're pulling from here is the real deal. We're talking police reports, actual witness testimonies. These things happen to real people. And that's exactly why they get under our skin so much, right? They tap into these primal fears we all have about the unknown, about threats that are very, very real. And the scariest part, some of these cases are still completely unsolved.
All right, for our first one, we're going back to 2006. This is a case that has absolutely baffled police and, well, it's haunted one woman for years now. It's called The Watcher in the Window.
So, here's how it started. A woman living all by herself starts to notice this pattern. Her dog, every single night, starts growling at the living room window. And look at this timing. It's just chillingly precise. It wasn't just around 2 in the morning. No, it was exactly at 2:17 a.m. Night 1, 2:17. Night 2, 2:17. At first, she just brushed it off. But by the third night, her fear just got the better of her. She finally looked.
And what she saw? I mean, it's straight out of a nightmare. It wasn't some monster, it wasn't a shadow. It was a man, just standing there. Perfectly still, in her yard, staring right at her. And the worst part, he was smiling. Of course, she immediately calls the police, but by the time they got there, he was just gone.
For days, the police found nothing, just some footprints circling the house. It's looking like a total dead end, until they found this. Scratched into her wooden fence, a simple message, just 4 words, that turned a strange encounter into a terrifying threat. The man was never identified. He was never caught.
Okay, so we've had a threat from outside the home. Our next story, it takes us inside a place that's supposed to be a safe haven, right? A hotel room. But this particular hotel in New York, it has a really dark secret. A secret about a room that, well, isn't even supposed to be there.
So, guests staying in this one room, room 428, started filing these really bizarre complaints. And we're not talking about bad plumbing or noisy neighbors. No, this was something way more sinister. People would walk in and instantly feel this sudden, crippling nausea. Others reported seeing things, vivid, terrifying hallucinations. But almost every single person mentioned this overwhelming feeling of just being watched. The complaints just kept piling up until, finally, a guest was found dead inside the room, with no apparent cause.
Okay, so now you've got a dead body. The hotel management, the investigators, they obviously have to get to the bottom of this. So they do the logical thing. They pull the original building plans, the official blueprints filed with the city. So what do you think they found?
Well, they found an anomaly, a total glitch in the system. Because according to every single official record, room 428 did not exist. It was never built, it wasn't on any of the plans, it just shouldn't have been there. The hotel sealed that room up permanently, and to this day, the employees there will not talk about what happened inside.
All right, for our next one, let's leave the city behind and head deep into the wilderness, into that vast, quiet space where you think you're all alone. This story is all about one piece of found evidence, a recording that captures someone's final terrifying moments. This is the hiker's last recording. So a hiker goes missing. The search party eventually finds his phone, just lying on the trail. And on it, the very last thing he saved was a voice memo. What's on it is just horrifying. It starts out, you can just hear heavy breathing. It sounds like he's running from something. Then you hear footsteps, but they're not his, and they're getting closer. Then, a moment later, there's a whisper, and the recording just ends with a scream. And that whisper, this is what it said. It's so close to the microphone, it sounds like the person is right behind him. The voice is calm, it's crystal clear, and it is absolutely menacing. It's the last thing he ever heard. And here's the kicker, the most chilling part of all of this. Despite a massive search, they never found his body. Not a trace. In that forest, that trail where he disappeared, it's still open to the public. Right now. All right, for our last story, we're bringing it back home. And this one is a chilling reminder of that classic horror movie trope, right? The call is coming from inside the house. It really plays on that deep primal fear that the one place you're supposed to feel completely safe isn't. This is the story of the figure in the mirror.
Imagine this. A woman starts noticing something impossible. Just a flicker of movement in her bedroom mirror. But it's not her reflection. Late at night, just out of the corner of her eye, she'd see it, a dark figure standing right behind her. And every single time she'd whip around to look, nothing. The room was totally empty.
Okay, so this is where the story takes this horrifying, very real turn. She eventually discovers hidden cameras all over her apartment, and her landlord? He confesses he'd been secretly watching her for months. So, case closed, right? I mean, it's absolutely terrifying, but at least there's a rational explanation. Except for one more detail. When the police questioned him, the landlord admitted to the cameras, but he swore on his life that he was not the person she was seeing in the mirror. He said he'd seen the figure too.
So, let's recap. The watcher in the window, the hotel room that shouldn't even exist, that terrifying voice in the woods, or the figure in the mirror that wasn't even the stalker. I have to ask you, which one of these true stories got to you the most?
You know, if you want to dive into even more of these absolutely chilling real-life cases, you gotta let me know. Hit that like button if you want a part 3, drop a comment and tell me which story creeped you out the most. And of course, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next.
All right, that's it for now. Good night, and maybe go lock your doors.